Hey YouTube family, welcome back. So I was playing around in my closet and I just decided to have fun and play a little bit with my ensemble today. So I have this nice little jacket blazer number here that I have not worn yet. I plan on pulling it out this fall and winter, hopefully. Like, I've probably had this thing for 3 years and haven't touched it. The hat here, I love hats. I don't wear hats as often as I would like because normally it's like the hairstyle clashes with it, or the hairstyle is too big and it just doesn't fit, but I wanted to do this hat because I like the way it looks with the hairstyle that I'm rocking right now. So anyways, let's go on to what we're going to talk about today. So before we get started though, I do have my lemon and ginger tea that I'm going to sip on. Yeah, I'm going to be giving y'all all the tea. And also I have some beautiful ginger snaps. Yeah, so I do love the flavor of ginger. I don't know what it is. It's a little bit spicy, and then, when it has that sweetness, like cookies and stuff, I just love ginger. I like ginger ale. I was actually about to buy some ginger beer to make a nice little cocktail one day. But I'm gonna get to that one day. Anywho, today I wanted to talk about some dating history that I have. So, just to give you some background, this guy that I guess we were trying to date before. We were never like a couple or anything official, but we did meet on Match.com. So, rewind. I joined Match.com like early 2019. I did the subscription. I did the subscription just to try it out and see what it was all about, because I just decided, okay, I can start dating now. I need to make effort into doing it. So joining Match.com was my way. The reason why I joined Match.com is because it did have like a subscription requirement, like you have to pay to be on it. And I feel like people who are paying on dating websites hopefully are more serious, So I wanted to do that just to kind of filter out the ones who are probably just there for a hookup. But hey, it might be people who still are paying when there's like, I think Tinder is free. I know when I was on Tinder years ago, it was free, but it was typically for hookups, which my little naive behind didn't know that. Like, I was on Tinder looking for my husband. Okay, so anyways, Match.com, my experience, in terms of looks, most of the guys were probably average to below average. So it was okay. Now the guy that I did meet, that I'm gonna talk about, he's a fine man. But it's let me just tell the story, I guess. But anyways, I did meet him, and then there was another guy on Match that was really fine. We never met in person, and I was so disappointed because we matched, and I think we chatted for a couple of weeks, and then I guess we just stopped chatting. I don't know. And at some point, he asked me if I was like dating other people or whatever, and that was the phase in my life where I realized, like, you have to be dating multiple people, because these guys are dating multiple people, and this would always happen to me. I date someone exclusively, in my mind, I'm dating exclusively. But the guy is dating every Sarah, Jane, and whoever. And then when it comes down to, hey, are we going to be serious? Oh no, I'm dating someone else. And then they're in a relationship with someone else. And so it would just leave me feeling like, man, I just wasted all my time dating you and only you. Like, I'm literally telling other guys, no, I'm dating someone that, I don't want to see someone else. And then I'm high and dry because I haven't been dating anyone else. But anyways, that happened to me in my early years. And even when I met the guy that I'm about to talk about, I did that with him. Like, I was just like, I like this guy. I'm sold on him. I was basically not even using my Match subscription for most of the time because I was dating this guy and I liked him. And mind you, we weren't like dating at the time. It was more like pen pals for a very long time. But anyways, I was really naive. Let's just say that. Fast forward, I meet this guy and he seems to be great. Like, he's good looking. He tells me he has this good career going, and apparently he said he lived like 30 minutes away from me. But anyways, I need a ginger snap. Oh, it's so good. Ginger on top of ginger. So anyways, about this guy. He seemed to be like someone who checked all my boxes. And for a second, I was like, this is almost too good to be true, right? Like, it's hard to check all of my boxes. It is really hard. So anywho, the things that he told me, he said he was a physical therapist and he lived in the city that's really close, like the biggest city that's close to me. So, which is like 20 to 30 minutes away from me. So I was like, oh, great. We should meet at some point, right? It's just been. So anyways, it took us, we ended up FaceTiming like a week into it. Because we matched and, started chatting there. And it was like everything was hitting the timeline that I wanted. Like, we exchanged numbers probably within a week. And everything was going well. He called me actually like 2 days after we exchanged numbers. He actually called, which was a breath of fresh air because I was able to hear what he sounded like. And honestly, oh God, his voice isn't like, ooh, it don't make me go, ooh. It's an interesting voice. But I don't have the best voice either, right? I don't know. He was just saying all the right things, but he ended up like calling me every single morning while I was on the way to work. And I would be talking to him going into work and just laughing and giggling. And it was just like, wow, I never had someone call me early in the morning and want to talk. And then I had my suspicions of it too. Like, he was only calling me early in the morning on my way to work. So I assumed that he would be on his way to work as well. So I'm like, is he like getting away from his family, his wife or whatever, and trying to call me? So I had red flags that were raising at that point. And then it just grew and grew and grew in terms of red flags. So it took us over a month to actually meet in person. And it got to the point where I was the one who was like, okay, when are we going to meet? You know? Because at this point, I was thinking all types of crazy stuff. Like, I knew his face was who it was because we FaceTimed a couple of times before we met in person. However, I was like, okay, I need to look at his wedding ring finger to see if there's a print there. And I always check out to see if there's a print on that wedding ring finger. So wear y'all's wedding rings, please, so I can know whether you're trying to be cheating or whatever. Anywho, what else was it with this guy? He had told me he had a daughter and she was 3 at the time, and he would say that, so he lived in this bigger city that's 30 minutes away from me, but his hometown was in the same state as my hometown, but his hometown was like 2 to 3 hours away from where he said he lived. So he had told me that he would go home every other weekend to get his daughter. We started following each other on social media, and I'm like, I've never seen him post a daughter or anything. I've never heard her in the background, like on weekends where he would call me. Like, I'm like, do you really have this daughter? I was really like, I don't think it's a daughter. It's something else going on there. Like, it's something, and I'm giving him that freedom to kind of do whatever is going on the weekends that he claims to have his daughter. So anyways, we meet in person, and it was just supposedly a coffee date, but he said he didn't drink coffee. It was just like a place that I figured, a Starbucks. I just figured it would be easier to do that. And to see, like, he didn't even offer me, like, do you want coffee or anything? He didn't offer me anything. So it was kind of disappointment. Okay. Even though he doesn't drink coffee, like, the nice thing would have been to offer me. That way I would have saw if you were cheap or broke or whatever. So yeah, first date, that's my cue to say, okay, is this person cheap? Like, will they pay for me? Because if you say, let's go Dutch or something, that's when I know, alright, nope, this ain't gonna work. And for some reason, men are normalizing that. Like, oh, I don't want to be paying for all these first dates because they're dating multiple people, right? Anyways. It was really weird, our first meeting. He was like finicky, and I was like, this man got a wife at home. He's trying to make sure he literally told me, okay, I got an hour, and he kept looking at his watch and everything. I'm like, who does this? Like, we've been talking on the phone and texting for over a month now, and we finally see each other, and you are finicky and looking at your watch. Like, it's in the middle of the day. It's not nighttime. It's like literally 3 o'clock when we met. Or maybe like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like, what? Like, you told me you had the day off. He said he took the day off to watch the basketball game or whatever. He says he does that. Anywho. I don't know, no man who taking off of work to watch a game. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't really know. I see men with their phones at the desk, you know, showing the games while they're working. I see that happening. I see men clicking on and off of the websites to see highlights of the game, to see what's going on, okay? But I don't see men taking a day off or a week off just to watch a tournament of some sort. Whatever. Anyways, unless you're going to actually going there. But anyways, there was so many red flags showing up with this guy. After we did meet up, like 2 days later, I remember I tried to call him and he wasn't answering. And then he ended up texting me saying, like, later at that night, it was like, I have to go to the emergency room, like, I'm really not feeling well. And I was like, what do you mean? Because, okay, he also, like, appeared to be a health nut. That's what his story was. Like, oh, I'm a health nut, I eat healthy, I work out every single day, I go to the gym every single day, blah, 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 blah. And he would always be, like, checking, oh, what were you eating and stuff like that. Kind of being on me about what I eat, which I don't like that. Alright? I do not like that. I don't need you to monitor. You're not my doctor. But anywho, I'm like, how is he getting sick now? And he's so healthy. And, you know, he's young. So I'm like, how is he getting sick to where he got to be going to the emergency room? Well, y'all, he went into the emergency room, and next thing I know, he was hospitalized and all types of stuff. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, do you need anything? Like, can I come to, what hospital are you at? And he just was brushing that question off. So it was a red flag there too. So I had been calling him like crazy one day, and it was no answer, no call, like no text. And I was like, I hope nothing happened to the man, you know. I was worried, y'all, really about this guy. And like 2 days later, he ends up FaceTiming me. No, he didn't FaceTime. He called me. And I was like, well, can I see you? You know, and really my question about, can we FaceTime? Can I see you? Was to see if he was really in the hospital. Y'all, I will never know. I will never know if he was really in a hospital, honestly. But that's what he said now. So anywho, after the hospital visit, he told me, oh, no. He did not let me come to the hospital. He wouldn't tell me where he was or anything. He was like, no, I'm fine. I don't need you worrying, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not worrying. I just want to check to make sure you're okay. And I know you don't have any family up here like that. So if you need anything, let me know. Then one random day, he's like, oh, I had to leave the hospital from there and drive to one that's closer to my hometown, because my mom was worried about me at the hospital up here. I was like, oh, okay. And he also had this story about his car. He was driving this 1998 car that was his first car. He loved it and adored it. But it kept breaking down. And he told me he had like 2 other cars, by the way, like newer cars. So it was so many holes in the story. But I was just like, I really had faith that this guy is telling the truth. But I also had doubts, like something is sketchy here. I just didn't know. I was so naive, y'all. But I was so naive. So anyways, after the hospital visit, he said he had to go to his mom's, you know, so she could help, you know, watch after him, which was, you know, made sense to me. I got a napkin here. Yeah, so he had also told me that he started this new job like 3 months earlier than when he got sick. So I was like, at this point, he had been out of work for some weeks. And I'm like, so, you know, what about your job? Like, you know, I'm worried. Like, I think they might let this guy go. I don't think, you know. Or he just kept telling me, oh, everything's all good. And mind you, he's at home that's like 2 hours away or so. And so I'm also like, okay, so what about your apartment that's up here? Like, what are you doing? And the more I was asking those questions, like, the more agitated he would become.